Hello guys! Today I'm going to talk about how to stop having sugar cravings or reduce sugar cravings. So let's get into it. Oh, first of all, I would like to mention that there's many reasons for why you want to reduce sugar cravings or reduce eating sugar in general. Like, first of all, it's not good for you. Everybody knows that sugar is not good for you. It can cause inflammation in your body. It can cause hormonal imbalance, the bacteria in your gut to be very unstable. It can cause pimples, bad skin, and a lot of bad things. It can harm your metabolic health, first of all, which just leads to a whole cascade of other bad things, which I have talked about in my other videos. So there's many reasons for why we may want to reduce sugar cravings and eat less sugar. So before thinking about how you can reduce your sugar cravings, you should identify why you have cravings in general. Maybe you have cravings because you eat sugar and sugar is addictive, so that makes you crave more sugar. I mean, sugar is as addictive as cocaine or even more. So the more sugar you eat, the more you're gonna want to have sugar. Another reason can be that you in general try to restrict yourself. So you think, oh, I'm gonna try to stay away from sugar and I'm gonna cut out those and those things, which makes you crave sugar maybe even more because you're too restrictive. So maybe you need more balance in that way, or you need to find a healthy way of still enjoying having some, maybe unhealthy things once in a while, but still feeling like you're not binging on it. Another reason why you are eating too much sugar might be because of habits. Maybe you have a habit of eating sugar, maybe your friends eat a lot of sugar and you just do the same as them. Or maybe you have a lot of snacks or sugary things at home, or maybe your family eats a lot of sugar and you eat at home, you eat the same things at home, and it's kind of like distracting your own diet, because we all know staying away from sugar, especially when it's so available and so accessible everywhere, especially when you have it in your house, makes staying away from sugar even harder. It's like around Christmas. Around Christmas, I feel like my sugar cravings go so much up because there's so many sweet things, and it just really mess up with my blood sugar. It makes me want to crave sugar so much, and it makes me really tired, and pimples as well. My skin gets so bad and I feel so bloated. So yeah, that's a good example. Also, maybe you are eating a lot of carbs in general. Like, let's say maybe you're trying to stay away from sugar. However, you are eating foods that contain a lot of carbs. Maybe you have a lot of granola in your yogurt that actually contains a lot of carbs. Or maybe you're eating rice with your dinner that also contains a lot of carbs. Foods that are high in carbs will spike your glucose level, and it will make you crave more carbs or sugar even more. So maybe you want to think about lowering your carb consumption. Like, I personally, I eat low carb because I feel just more tired and I feel like I crave carbs more when I eat too many of them. So you may want to have a look at, check out the labels of the foods that you eat a lot and check how many carbs are actually inside. Like, I eat probably like between 30 or 50 grams of carbs, maybe more, maybe less, because this works way better for me and I just feel much better and my energy is much better. So yeah. Another reason why you might be craving sugar might be that you have a disturbed microbiome. So if you have a disturbed microbiome, you may be craving sugar like an addict, because you have bacteria in here that loves sugar and they have been growing and they're growing from sugar. And they are gonna make you want sugar even more because they want to be fed and fed. So you have to starve those bacteria to stop feeling cravings for sugar. Like, I remember when my gut microbiome was really out of balance and really disturbed, I was craving sugar or sugary things or fruits like an addict, and it was literally annoying for me, because also when I ate sugar I would feel really dizzy and tired, and it's just not a good feeling to have. Like, you have to have sugar with all the time. It's not a good feeling, and it literally caused just even more microbial imbalance in your body, and I just felt shit all the time. So yeah, it took a lot of time for me to heal that issue. But yeah, if you want to know more about that, you can check out my other YouTube video about gut health and how to fix your gut health as well. Now I will quickly get into some solutions to the problems and things that I do to avoid sugar and avoid sugar cravings in general. So first of all, like I mentioned, I check on the packages I buy how much carbs are inside the package of a food and if there's any added sugar, because we are all suffering from marketing, and just because a food, granola for example, said no sugar, blah blah blah, it still might have like 70 grams of carbs or 100 grams. So if you have that on your granola, you're gonna have a huge spike. So you should definitely read food labels and check all food labels. I choose something that is rather high in protein and high in fat rather than something that is high in carbs. I get my carbs from fruits, from nuts, from dried fruit. I think it's a better source, and I like to combine it with fiber as well if I have something higher in carbs, because this will lower your glucose spike. The more glucose spikes you have, the more you're gonna crave more carbs or more sugar, or just having food cravings in general. Your energy level will be so much more stable if a low carb diet works better for you. If you want to go really hard and really reduce your sugar cravings, I usually do this after Christmas sometimes. So I decide that I'm gonna have 3 or 4 days completely without any sugar at all and really low carb, extra low carb, because I feel like after Christmas, for example, when there's a lot of food and sweets, I feel so tired and I'm so bloated and I feel like I need a reset. And usually it takes like 3 to 4 days, sometimes even a week, before sugar cravings will reduce and you feel like you don't even want to eat chocolate anymore and you don't even want sweets anymore. So yeah, that's one recommendation that you might want to try. Another thing that I would like to mention is don't restrict yourself too hard. Because if you restrict yourself too hard, it's almost like at some point you're gonna break, and at some point you might end up binging on the things that you really like to eat or the sweet things that you really like to eat. So I would say don't restrict yourself. Try to have a balanced, healthy and sometimes unhealthy relationship to food. Find some healthy snacks that help suppress your sugar cravings. For example, I like sweet things. I love things that are sweet, maybe not too sweet, but for example, I have at least 2 pieces of dark chocolate every day, and I love to combine it with like nuts and seeds and fruits. For me, that's like perfect. I don't have any sugar cravings as long as I can have my chocolate and my healthy snacks, you know. I also actually have some personal tricks that I really feel like helps with both digestion and also sugar cravings. So I feel like acidic things really helps to lower sugar cravings, like apple cider vinegar or lemon water. So if I feel like I'm craving something after dinner and I feel like I'm having sugar cravings that I think is a bit annoying, I drink a glass of half a lemon squeezed inside and sparkling water. I feel like this really, I don't know what it does, but I feel like this really helps, so you might want to try it. Also kombucha, I feel like that really takes away my sugar cravings. Of course, that also contains some carbs, but I feel like the acidity and the sparkling water really satisfy my sugar cravings. Like, I can just have a kombucha after my meal and I just don't feel like I'm craving anything anymore. So, I mean, this works for me, but you might want to try something acidic. Also, now I'm gonna get into some supplements that actually help stabilizing your blood sugar and lowers glucose spike after a meal, so that leads to having less sugar cravings in general. So it depends on your age, actually. And you have to check out the dose that might fit for you. But I love 2 different supplements. The one is berberine. This is amazing. It helps lowering your glucose spike, especially if you want to eat something more sweet and you don't want to have a huge spike and feel really tired and sluggish after that meal or snack. And another one is chromium. This is also really good for balancing your blood sugar and yeah, not having too much spike. So I take both of them. It might depend on the day or if what I'm eating in general, but I like to take them in general. I take a really low dose because I'm already eating low carb, but I just like to keep my energy as stable as possible. You should definitely try them if you think that you would suit using these supplements. And then my last advice that I already mentioned, I guess, is to, think about your environment. What do you have in your house? Do you feel like there's food in your house that are toxic to you that you tend to go and snack on all day? And maybe you have some goals, maybe you have some body goals, or maybe you have goals about your skin, or maybe your health or gut health in general. Start to look around in your house and clean out the things that you feel are making you stay away from your goal. Just make sure you have healthy habits. It's all about building healthy habits. You know, changing your diet is not something that happens overnight. It's something that happens over time. So, you know, allow yourself to get into this identity of being a better and healthier you, you know, and allow yourself to take the time to do that. Don't go too hard, don't be too restricted, you know, just like with exercise, don't go too hard, don't be too restricted. That's very important. Also, another thing that I actually forgot to mention is exercise. I forgot to mention exercise. So, I love to go for a walk after my lunch because I tend to get a bit tired or like having sugar cravings after my lunch sometimes. However, if I go for a little walk or a stroll after my lunch, this helps to also lower your sugar spikes. It's very blood sugar stabilizing to have a walk. So exercise in general is something that really helps to reduce sugar cravings. As long as you eat enough protein, you know, make sure you have a healthy diet, that you eat enough protein, because if you are not consuming enough nutrition and enough protein, and the things that your body needs, you might also crave sugar because your body is actually craving calories. So sugar is a very calorie dense food, and because of our human biology, we will naturally want sugar. We will naturally want to crave sugar. This is obviously a maladaptation of ours to eat sugar because it's not healthy for us. But yeah, make sure that you get enough nutrition, make sure that you have a clean diet, eliminate processed foods from your diet, because this also can really disturb your microbiome, which makes you crave sugar even more. So that's super important that you make sure of that. For example, I feel like if I didn't have enough protein and I feel like I didn't have enough nutritious meals, I feel like I really want to eat a lot of sugary things. I feel like I'm craving things that are really high in calories, maybe more unhealthy things, right? This is a very important thing to mention, especially to avoid binge eating, just over consuming sugar. So yeah, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please ask any questions. Obviously, these are all my personal advice and what works for me in general, but also I think it can be applied to most people in general. So I hope you found this video useful. Kisses!